Have you ever wondered how to really harness the power of your mind and unlock the true power of your potential? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Hello, everyone. I am your muse, Traci. I am your favorite manifestation coach. I am here to inspire you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling and to stop suffering. You are not here to suffer. If that sounds good to you, you're more than welcome to subscribe to my channel. I offer one-on-one coaching and I also offer group coaching. In my coaching program, we take a deep dive into your subconscious programming or your belief system, and we do the work to change the programming that is effectively covering up and masking your true nature. I will take you through the process of identifying and changing this programming. I'll also teach you how to integrate the creator belief system, release stored emotions from the past, as well as teaching you how to honor and process your emotions on an ongoing basis, as well as much, much more. We meet 2 to 3 times per week in my coaching program. In between each of the sessions, you have email access to me. And this program is for you if you are sort of done with the one-off coaching sessions that are sort of a band-aid. This program creates real transformation in every area of your life and returns you back to your nature, your true nature of being an effortless and unlimited creator. Most of my clients will stay with me 2 to 3 months to integrate these teachings. Some want to stay longer, which is okay. Some want to stay shorter. It's always up to you and how much support and the level of support that you want at this point in time. Okay, so it's always up to you. Either way, my clients come out of the program transformed and back in their ability to create everything that they desire. They stop struggling, they stop suffering, and they finally understand how to apply all the manifesting knowledge that they've been acquiring and consuming and learning for sometimes years. So if you're interested, leave me a message down below, send me an email. You can follow the link down below. And, I do have a wait list for my coaching program right now. So the sooner you join the wait list, the sooner that you can get started and, working on your own transformation. It really is life-changing. And any questions at all, send me an email and I'll be happy to tell you more. So let's get into this powerful video today, you guys. So ever wonder where the thoughts are coming from? The thoughts that are, just bubbling up in your mind. Where are the thoughts coming from? Are they coming from you? Are they coming from ego? Are they coming from programming? Are they coming from fear? Are they coming from your higher self? Unprocessed emotions? So many options, right? Well, the truth is, it can literally be any of these places. Your thoughts can spring and arise from any of these places. And some of these sources you want to believe, right? Your higher self, that's a good source. You should believe those thoughts. I mean, I would. You feel free to do what you want, but some of these sources you want to believe and some you don't want to believe. Fear, ego, not helpful. And, this is exactly how you simplify the process of harnessing the power of mastering your own mind. You develop the habit, the ability to have discernment over your thoughts, meaning you don't believe every thought that comes into your mind. You get to discern, you get to pick and choose which thoughts you will believe and feed your energy into, and which thoughts you will not believe and starve of any energy that they have. Did you know that you don't have to believe every thought that you have? Maybe you didn't. And so, like everyone else, You have some thoughts coming from your higher self, your programming, your conscious mind, fear, doubt, worry, habits of thought, concepts of yourself. We all have the potential to have thoughts arise from any of these sources. And the more you believe the thoughts that arise from these sources, the more you enable the source, right? So it's like feeding a hungry animal. When you believe the thoughts from your ego, for example, you sort of empower the ego. You feed it. You give it more space, more power in your mind. The ego feels empowered every time you believe it. So you empower the ego and you feed it, and it becomes stronger, a stronger player in the sources of thoughts in your mind. Likewise, when you decide to not believe the thought from a particular source, let's again take your ego for an example. When you stop believing the egoic thoughts again and again and again, you are essentially starving that thought, and then you're also taking power and you know, you're not feeding more energy into your ego. You're starving out the source as well as the thought. They go hand in hand. So essentially you're taking power from it rather than feeding power into it. And this is a very wise thing to do when you're talking about your ego. Your ego is always doubt, fear, questioning. It's not empowerment. It's all limitation. And by just deciding to believe the thought or stop the thought in its tracks and say, no, I don't believe that thought, you are choosing one of these things: to empower it and feed it, or to starve it and disempower it. Stop empowering it. Because let's get one thing straight right off the bat. You are not your thoughts. You are the consciousness, the observer, the unchanging presence that is capable of observing the thoughts. And if you can observe the thoughts, you are not the thoughts themselves. So first and foremost, you have to stop identifying with your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer. And as the observer, you have the power and the ability and the right to decide whether you want to believe a particular thought, or if you want to simply say, no, I don't believe that. And you really don't have to do any more than that. It doesn't need to go into flipping the thought. You can just say, no, I don't believe it. You don't necessarily have to replace it with another positive thought. You simply, as the observer, choose thought by thought whether it is something that you want to continue to believe in, or if you want to stop believing in it. Your thoughts in and of themselves are harmless. It's the belief behind the thought that gives them power or doesn't give them power. You see, so this habit of discernment is tremendously empowering to you, the consciousness, the observer. It's empowering to you. When you consistently decide to stop believing in a thought, and yes, consistency is key here, you cannot do this 1 or 2 or even 10 times, and then on the 11th time, you give in to the unwanted thought. It doesn't work that way. Consistency is absolutely key here. You have to remain consistent with your thoughts, and any thought you don't want to empower in your consciousness or in your reality, simply say, I don't believe that thought, every single time it comes into your awareness. Okay, so consistency is key. Let's be clear with that. Because again, it's not the thought that is creative necessarily. It's your belief behind the thought that empowers it and gives it life or power. So once you consistently say no to a particular thought, let's use an example. So an example of a thought maybe that you're going to say no to is, my SP is not choosing me or doesn't love me. So if you consistently, which means each and every single time this thought comes up, you simply say, no, I don't believe this is true. Once you do this consistently, you are taking the power out of this thought, and you are starving out the source of the thought as well. Whether that's coming from past experiences or something in the 3D reality or your programming, it doesn't matter. You are taking energy and power out of the source of the thought as well, which sounds like a good idea. It doesn't sound like a reliable or beneficial source feeding you this type of thought. And when you do this enough, eventually the thought will stop coming into your mind altogether. And think about a space where there aren't negative or unwanted thoughts popping into your mind all the time and you resisting them because you believe in them. Remember, what you resist persists. I want to say that in every single video. It's so important, you guys. So we are not resisting the thoughts. That's not resistance, by the way, that I'm talking about. This is not resistance. You see the thought is there, and you just simply remove your belief from the thought. So you don't need the thought to go away or never come back. That is a very fearful stance to have with the thought. And you're only fearful of something that you believe in, right? You aren't fearful of things that you don't believe in. That doesn't even make sense. So you aren't resisting any thoughts. You are just simply removing your belief from the thought. You're removing your belief from them. And they will eventually stop coming up, and the mind becomes clearer and clearer. And it can be used as the power tool that it was meant to be. And you can consciously start then to direct your thoughts to the things that you want to engage in and experience without all the noise of the unwanted, fearful, egoic, unconscious thoughts. This is a powerful and simple technique, and one that everyone can start to practice right now. You can do it right now. Just start right now. Just start being very discerning with your thoughts. It makes sense that we should have been doing this all along, and that we are the observer and the chooser of our thoughts. But we weren't probably taught this because most people are living in survival mode and living in a fear-dominated mentality when none of that is actually necessary. Fear is a liar. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. And again, it's normal to have fearful thoughts, but it's your belief in the fearful thoughts that either empowers the fear or starves out the energy from the fear. And you get to choose. And when you learn to exercise this choice with each and every thought that comes into your mind becomes very, very powerful. Again, just like it was meant to be. Your mind is meant to be a power tool. And listen, it makes sense. You're discerning with everything else, or most everything else in your life. Let's look at some examples. You're discerning with the clothes you wear, the places you go, the people you interact with, the food that you eat. Why? Why on earth would you not be discerning with your own thoughts? The one place where no one on earth can actually intervene, and you have total and absolute control. Why would you not make more decisions and be more discerning with the thoughts that you allow to continue to live and breathe in your own mind? I intend that after this video, you will, and I know that this will be a game changer for you. Super simple. The truth is always simple. Super simple technique and super empowering to, again, starve out these unwanted thoughts so that they're not creating in your reality. And also, it's a double whammy. You're starting to starve out the source as well. So if you have an overactive ego that's always feeding you doubt, always feeding you fear, the less you believe those thoughts, the less power your ego thinks it has. If you just stop believing all the thoughts that are coming from your ego eventually is going to pipe down and quiet down. The ego only becomes overactive and overempowered when we feed it. We are doing that. How do we feed it? By believing the thoughts that the ego is feeding you. You don't have to do that. And again, what does the ego sound like? The ego always sounds like fear, questioning, doubting, limitation. Any kind of limitation, that's for sure your ego. All right, you guys, leave me a comment down below. If you had some aha moments in this video, leave me a comment with your takeaways from the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.